Have you noticed a change in your partner's behavior? Are you worried that maybe he's lost some feelings for you or that maybe he doesn't love you like he did before? Do you want things to go back to the way they were in the beginning? Well, then stay right here because in this video, I'll explain the reasons why men change and I'll tell you exactly what to do to turn things around and have him wanting you and valuing you more than ever. Don't go anywhere because we're starting right now. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Antonio Borrello and I'm a psychologist and a relationship coach. This channel is all about helping you build great relationships so you can grow happy with the people you love. So if you're interested in making your love life the best part of your life, start now by clicking the subscribe button and hit the bell notification so you aren't missing anything. Okay, let's talk about why he changed and how to get him back like he was before. And most importantly, make sure you watch until the end because I'm also going to tell you how to prevent this from ever happening to you again. So imagine the scenario. You've met a great guy. He is smart and funny and attractive and very interested in you. He's texting you and calling you and telling you how much he likes you and wants to get to know you. Maybe he's even told you that he knows that you're the one. And perhaps you're being a little bit careful. Maybe you're feeling lukewarm about him. You're open to the possibility of dating him, but just playing it cool and watching to see what he does. But he just keeps doing all of the right things. He's super sweet, super attentive, and making you feel like the most important and the most beautiful person in the world. And it feels wonderful. He's really great. And so you start to let your guard down and you start to also show him your attention and affection. You let him know your feelings for him too. And for a while, things are beautiful, they're blissful, things are wonderful, and you're really happy. And then, after a short time, things start to change and he's acting differently. The guy who was always blowing up your phone is now inconsistently responding. He no longer texts you first thing in the morning. Now, instead of writing you paragraphs, he's barely giving you short 1 or 2 word responses to your texts. He's not calling you like he did before. And maybe he doesn't say I love you like he did before. And because it's bothering you so much, you decide to bring it to his attention and ask him why he's changed. You talk to him and ask him what's wrong. And he tells you everything is okay. You're just too sensitive. Stop worrying about it. Or he tries to reassure you that nothing has changed and that he will try harder. But nothing changes. He's still not showing you the attention and affection that he did before. And you know that something is different. If you're like most people, you can't just forget about it. Instead, you try to bring him closer. You become extra attentive and want to spend extra time with him trying to rekindle. In other words, when you feel him getting distant, you put more effort into the relationship and you increase the level of attention and affection and concern for him. Because, of course, you don't want to lose him. And this is actually making things worse for you and for him. That's because you are the one putting in all of the energy and effort and you're becoming frustrated and bitter and even resentful. And then when you continue to complain, things just get more difficult between you. It's like he sees you as the one who's always complaining and nagging. You'd think it would be the opposite, but it's not. Trying harder doesn't help. So what do? Well, stay with me here because this is how you turn things around. First, I want you to remember that from a very young age, boys and men are brought up and socialized knowing that they are the ones who must pursue and court the girls and women that they want to date. Think about it. Boys are taught that they are supposed to show interest, to ask girls to dance, to ask them for their number, to ask them for a date, and so on. This is something that has been ingrained in them in so many ways. They are brought up knowing that they are supposed to initiate and pursue. And besides being part of their socialization, from an evolutionary perspective, the chase is also a primal response. Men are the hunters, the ones who pursue and compete with the other men for your attention and affection. It's ingrained into the deepest parts of the brain. It's an evolutionary response to millions of years of competing with other species for survival. So when a man is trying to win your affection, when a man is trying to win your attention, he is working so hard at this goal. He is putting in so much time, so much effort, trying to express his feelings in every way imaginable. And as a result of all of his effort and investment, he begins to really value you. He begins to really like you. He is really wanting you. That's because value is related to investment. The fact is that we like, appreciate, and value the things and people that we invest our time, energy, and money into. The more we invest in someone, the more we like and appreciate them as a result. So while he's chasing and pursuing you, your value is super high. Now, what happens when he catches you? What happens when you fall for him? Well, when you fall for him and you start to give back, there's this blissful period of time where you're both on equal grounds and things are amazing. Things feel great. Both of you are putting the same effort and investment into the relationship. But if you are the type of person who gives all of your heart, if you are the person who jumps in with both feet and gives it your all, what happens to the effort and investment that he has to put in? That's when you notice that you are giving 100%, maybe 110% effort, but you notice that somehow he is trying less and less. You notice a change in his behavior despite the fact that you are putting in more effort than ever. So things get flip-flopped. You are now the one who is putting in all of the effort and he's sitting back and seeming to not even appreciate or value you. And most importantly, he is no longer investing into the relationship. And things and people that we don't invest in are somehow less valued. So if you're the one doing all the investment, the relationship becomes lopsided and you'll be taken for granted and unappreciated. Okay, so now how do you fix it? Well, you need to change your focus and do these steps in this order. And the order here is very important. And then after the steps, I'll tell you how to prevent this from ever happening again. So make sure you stick around after the steps. Number 1, stop initiating communications. This is the first and probably the one that is most difficult because when you miss someone, it is hard to not reach out to that person because you want to be connected and communicating. But if you want a man to really miss you and value you, you must pull away. So do not initiate calls or text to him. And I didn't say ignore him or stop communicating. I'm saying stop being the one that is always looking for him and starting communications. In other words, you're not the one who's going to be starting the day with a good morning call or text. Instead, let him do it. Eventually, he will recognize the difference and wonder why you're suddenly gone silent on him. Let him feel a little down and realize that he was happier when things were different. Your silence will speak volumes and he will usually initiate contact again pretty quickly. Oh, and make him wait before you return his calls and texts. I understand the urge to respond back immediately, especially if you've been waiting to hear from him for a while, but taking some time before responding to his contact sends the message that you are busy and not just sitting by your phone waiting for him to reach out. Have patience and take your time before responding. Doing so will certainly increase his yearning for you. By the way, when he notices that things have changed with you, he's going to bring it up. But this is very important. You must refrain from having that discussion until the time is right. I know you badly want to talk about it with him, but the timing of this talk has to be right, and you've got to have all the steps in place. Number 2, let him invest in you. People care more when they put more effort into their relationships. So let your partner invest in you. And when he does, he will be increasing his feelings of love and appreciation for you. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about allowing him to help you with things, small favors, helping you complete a project at home, help with studying, things that take time and effort. The more he invests, the more he will like you as a result. I know it seems counterintuitive, but trust me, we appreciate and value the things that we work hard for. Invest in each other equally. Share the effort, share the work, share in the giving and receiving, and you will develop an amazing appreciation for each other. It can be difficult for some people to do this. Some people are just very agreeable and are constantly putting the needs and desires of others before their own. If this is you, be careful. This behavior is not sustainable and in time will cause you to resent your partner. Number 3, prioritize your needs and put yourself first. Sometimes people go out of their way to show the person they're dating how much they like them. They jump at every opportunity to talk, to hang out, to text, and usually that's a good thing, but not if you're trying to raise your value or trying to get him to want you more. In this case, you need to take the attention off of him and put it back on yourself. Take care of you first. Pick up some hobbies, make and keep plans with your friends, fill up your social calendar, and when he calls last minute to make plans, oops, sorry, I have plans. This will make him prioritize and plan his time with you. Number 4, become scarce. Now, this can be difficult to do because when you like someone, you want to spend as much time with them as possible. But this often backfires. By constantly being available, you diminish your value. So if he's taking you for granted, start being a little less available. And then even less, until he hardly sees you at all. Now you've effectively instigated the law of scarcity. We all know this one. People want what they can't have. Things that are scarce are more valuable. If your time is scarce, it has more value. Plus, absence makes the heart grow fonder. And don't say out of sight, out of mind. He's going to be wondering about you. Let him have the thoughts that you've had. Let him become the one worried about the relationship. Number 5, be a little bit mysterious. That means you don't have to share every detail of your daily activities with him. You don't need to over-explain every little thing that you're doing. You want him to wonder, to develop intrigue. It's okay if he's a little worried too. Remember, before he won your heart, he was a bit anxious and worried that you might even reject him. So when you're going out to dinner with your parents, tell him you're going out to dinner. You don't have to tell him who you're going with unless he asks. And when you have plans with your friends and he asks you on a date last minute, tell him you have plans with friends. You don't have to go above and beyond to make him feel at ease about what you're doing. Remember, you want him to appreciate you and your time, and you want him to remember your value as a friend. So let him wonder, and if he needs to ask, let him do that too. I can promise you this. If he loves you, doing these things will wake him up and he will remember and appreciate what he has before it's too late and you're over it. If he cares, these steps will get his attention and make him fly right. But how do you keep this from happening again? Well, I wrote a meme that will help you to remember. And that is that relationships are not made in heaven. They come in individual kits that take time and effort to put together. And it takes both parties working together. Sometimes it's 50-50. Sometimes it's 60 and 40. And other times it's 40 and 60. But it's all about balancing each other and supporting one another when needed. Healthy relationships require sharing the effort and the work. That means sharing the decisions on choosing restaurants to eat at and deciding on movies to see. That means you share in deciding who to spend time with, or the music that you listen to in the car and the TV shows that you watch together. So instead of agreeing to watch football with him all day, ask him to binge watch a show that you would both enjoy. And when he loves it, now you have something more in common. Ask him to help you with everyday chores and taking care of your needs. And when he does, he will be valuing you more and appreciating you more as a result. So the bottom line is that you have to allow him to invest his time, his effort, and his energy. If he wants to see you, make him come to your side of the town. Let him pick you up. And I understand it can be difficult for some people to do this. Some people are just very agreeable and work hard to be the perfect girlfriend, but it doesn't work. If this is you, be careful. This behavior is not sustainable and in time will cause you to be underappreciated and undervalued. And this is exactly what happened to Amber. Click here to see what happens when you are too good. Or click here to learn what to do when he doesn't want to be in a relationship. I'll see you in the next video.